President Jacob Zuma remains adamant that he will not appear before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, defying an order from the Constitutional Court. Now, the ConCourt last week compelled Zuma to give evidence at the Zondo Commission after Zuma left the commission last year without permission. For more on this, we're joined now by our senior politics reporter, Zondo, who joins us in studio this morning. It's the news environment. It moves quickly.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the story around the former president. I spoke to his son, and it would seem that the reasoning is still very much around the Deputy Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, needing to recuse himself, according to the former president, but also the issue of the child that the Deputy Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, has with the woman who is related to the wife of the former president. Why is that still in play?
Well, unfortunately, for the former president, the fact that that is still in play for him is not going to matter, because they also didn't appear before the Constitutional Court when the matter was heard on the 29th of December. And the Constitutional Court, during the handing down of that judgment, Justice Chris Jafta noted that they missed an opportunity to give their side of the story to the Constitutional Court in order for it to make a determination on how it reached its ruling. And so and even during the arguments that were given by Tembeka Ngugaitobi on behalf of the Commission, they were quite clear about the fact that regardless of how the former president feels about the Deputy Chief Justice, that doesn't take away his responsibility to be accountable as the former head of state and as someone who actually was a physical representation of the Constitution at some stage or the other.
Zianda, then I asked Edward Zuma, the son of the former president, to the question around whether the former president is prepared to go and sit in a jail cell, seeing that he is defying not just Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's commission, but the Constitutional Court. Edward's response: so be it. What are we likely to see then unfold? I know I'm asking you to look into the crystal ball here, but what are we likely to see politically? And might I remind you what Carl Niehaus has said, that should Zuma go to jail, we might just see civil unrest in this country.
Well, I think on the legal perspective, let me start there. One of the things that could happen is that the former president could be declared a constitutional delinquent. The other option is that he could get arrested, and you've already now mentioned that Edward Zuma said, so be it. I think the former president is actually trying to force the hand of both the Commission and that of the NPA and all law enforcement agencies to say, well, what are you going to do now? Already last week, Oli, we saw a message circulating saying that the former president is heading to Russia for treatment.
And this was dismissed.
And it was dismissed.
By his foundation.
By his foundation. However, that would be the only circumstance upon which the former president cannot attend the commission if he's incapacitated. Not that he's out of the country per se, no. He has to be physically ill or incapacitated, which would mean that he's unable to attend the commission, not that he's unwilling. What we're seeing in the statements is that the former president is unwilling to go to the commission, and that's what the Constitutional Court has made a determination on, that you cannot decide whether or not you feel like going to the Commission of Inquiry. That's not how this thing works. On the political aspect, I mean, we've already seen what's happened to Carl Niehaus himself, being charged by the ANC for his comments that he made about Deputy Secretary General J.C. Duarte. Look, we're living in COVID-19 times, so we don't really have a dipstick as to the temperature and the mood and the force that the former president might have at this particular point in time. We have Ace Makashule, who's also facing his own legal woes. He's expected back in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court later in February. And so at this point in time, Oli, yes, we've heard Carl Niehaus saying that there will be civil unrest should the former president be arrested. But how would that be meted out, given the fact that this is a public declaration? You would assume then that law enforcement agencies would also be preparing around there's such a situation.
Yeah. Zianda, this is about the former president simply refusing to give evidence at the commission, which will be presided over during his testimony, I suppose, which is what he wants, by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. The option of the former president giving testimony via a video link, that is something that has always been open to him, even in the words of the Deputy Chief Justice, provided that he has applied for it. So this is clear defiance that I'm not going to appear as long as you are presiding over this commission. So it has nothing to do with the former president being worried about COVID-19, because let's be clear, he was there last year wearing a mask, and when his legal team walked off, he decided that he was going to follow suit. Absolutely,
and this goes back then to that judgment that was handed down to say you do not have a choice. The only other option, might I add, I omitted to add, Xoli, that may be available to the former president is the fact that he is, of course, reviewing the decision to set the decision by the Deputy Chief Justice to set aside that recusal application. And this then would go back to what you've been speaking about, Xoli, which is to say that he doesn't want to appear if Zondo is chairing that commission. But I mean, proving bias, even Moses Kakane will tell you, is a very difficult thing to do in terms of this particular recusal application. However, what we still haven't gotten a particular answer to is, let's just say in an exceptional circumstance that the Deputy Chief Justice is removed as the chairperson for the 15th to the 19th of February. Will the former president still be willing to appear before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry? That's not clear at this particular point in time. And so then the issue goes back to, it's not about whether or not you are willing to, or willing to, it's about what you have to do as a matter of the Constitution and what it says about a commission of the nature that Zondo is overseeing. It's looking into corruption, malfeasance. And the issue that was raised during that Concourt judgment was to say that, and the arguments made by Ngugaito was to say that the former president, in essence, is trying to apply all sorts of stratagems to exhaust the time limits that have been placed on the commission. That report, Xoli, must be concluded by March unless the DCJ requests an extension. But time is of the essence.
Yeah.